Hello, I'm Dara Burke, Head of Swoop Funding in Canada. Today I'm talking to Alex Morsink and Ryan Carrera, co-founders of Equivesto, which is connecting investors with some great companies across Canada. People have heard a lot about crowdfunding over the past couple of years. What is crowdfunding and what are the types of crowdfunding that Equivesto does?
Crowdfunding has definitely grown in popularity a lot over the past few years. There are three main types of crowdfunding that exist. The first is donation-based crowdfunding, where individuals raise capital as a sort of donation-based platform for some sort of goal, like raising capital or funds for healthcare on GoFundMe. The second example of crowdfunding would be rewards-based crowdfunding, something like Kickstarter, a location where companies can offer pre-orders of a future product or something like that. And the final example is equity crowdfunding, where companies can allow investors to pool their funds together to actually make micro investments in a business. In all three scenarios, it's really about a community coming together and putting small amounts of money towards a common goal. Equivesto is fully licensed as an exempt market dealer and an online investment portal. So there's a number of different ways we can help companies raise capital. One of the ways that we do that is equity crowdfunding. So we have really been happy to expand and help more and more companies raise capital from their extended community and the general public through equity crowdfunding.
Who uses Equivesto? What drew those businesses to Equivesto, and how have they been let down in the past by other sources of funding or other platforms?
Equity crowdfunding on Equivesto is ideal for Canadian founders who have developed a strong community over time and are looking to convert that community into investors. Other types of crowdfunding, such as rewards-based, are more ideal for product-based businesses. Equity crowdfunding actually provides a way for non-product companies to give something tangible to investors. And I think the main thing that we do better is we spend a significant amount of time and energy helping companies prepare their community and sort of navigate both the financial and marketing sides of the capital raising experience. And we aren't really like a volume shop. We are selective with the companies that we work with, and we often work with them for months at a time to get them prepared.
Why did you decide that you guys had the answer? What made you act?
We saw a huge need for additional capital to go to founders in Canada. We were seeing a number of companies that were raising capital needing to go to the United States to be able to raise the funds that they wanted to be able to grow. And we thought that that was a huge disservice to Canadians. At the same time, as individuals, we wanted the ability to invest in startups and small businesses. And for a long time, legally, we couldn't because we didn't have millions of dollars ourselves. And so when we saw changes happening in the US, in the UK, but not necessarily getting started in Canada, we saw, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for us to get involved and start participating in this new industry. So when equity crowdfunding was first made legal in 2016, that's when Ryan and I started researching and working on it. We have been live and operating since 2020. It took a number of years to get our securities license to be able to do this, but we've been really focused on improving the accessibility and the access for all founders, but also for all investors.
What about the supply side? Who can invest in companies on your platform?
It really depends on the set of rules that a company is utilizing to raise capital on our platform. For equity crowdfunding specifically, you need to be a Canadian resident, above the age of 18, and create an investor account on Equivesto and be determined suitable by our compliance team.
Why do crowdfunding campaigns succeed or fail?
Crowdfunding campaigns are challenging to run because they're encouraging hundreds, if not thousands of people to invest into one specific idea. If you think about a crowdfunding campaign almost as a product launch, but instead of there being a product like a bicycle, the product is your business itself, that's a good way to approach it. So it's not a situation of quickly throw together a campaign and put it up on the website, and investors are going to come flooding in. Crowdfunding is really about building interest, building demand, gathering your community in advance, and using marketing and all these different tools to sort of spread awareness about what you're doing. And then once you have a big enough community gathered, then inviting those people to come in and invest. So marketing and community building are two extremely important pieces of running a successful campaign. Sometimes companies overestimate the strength of their community or underestimate the amount of effort to put into the marketing, and that can lead to challenges.
Swoop is a strong advocate of blended funding. Does it make sense to get funded before going to the crowd?
Absolutely. Any investor would like to know, a company is well capitalized and other investors are involved. So I would certainly say blended funding works in many cases. We specifically can work with different types of either equity or debt options, but of course, companies can seek other types of funding, specifically even through Swoop.
How are the current industry challenges impacting crowdfunding?
The current industry challenges are quite broad, and the inflation, the changes to the macroeconomic situation, and the flight from the public markets all have had several different impacts on the equity crowdfunding space. In the first point around founders looking for capital, we've seen a number of mid to late stage venture capital and private equity firms kind of pull out, given the risk in the public markets, sort of entering into the private markets there. And so with potentially less capital available to founders are always looking for more opportunities and more avenues to raise capital. And equity crowdfunding is just another alternative financing option that allows them to bring in investors and get capital they need if they're not able to do so sort of from the VC side. On the investor side, we're also seeing a number of public retail investors who are not enjoying what's going on in the public markets, looking for alternative places to actually put their funds and to invest in things that are going to make up some of those returns that they lost in the public markets. So there's certainly a lot of demand from that side as well. Really, the critical piece comes down to community building and building that emotional connection with your potential investors. Having that strong relationship is always going to go further, especially in more challenging times. So that is something that we really recommend founders focus on.
How has Equivesto worked out for real life companies?
We've had a number of really strong and great successes that we can use as examples. One that we like to refer to is a small business that raised from their community in the middle of the pandemic. They were looking to launch and they were looking to change up how restaurants operated in their local area and bring something new. And they were able to raise well over their target raise amount from their community, which helped them launch what is now a very successful restaurant in their city. So we were very happy to be able to support that. Another example is a fintech startup based here in Toronto. They were already developing an MVP and had a few clients, but they needed to raise funds to be able to really start scaling the business. They raised over 300% of their minimum goal on Equivesto, and that put them in a great position to continue to build out their MVP and product. And they were able to then successfully go and pitch on CBC's Dragon's Den, where they successfully closed over $500,000.
Ryan, Alex, thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to know more about how to secure funding for your business, whether it's from grants, borrowing, or equity, you'll find everything you need to know at swoopfunding.com. Thanks a million for viewing.